Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad to have you all come back, and if you're new, welcome. This is a bonus edition to the 5-part series of Surviving Maternity, the Black Edition. So without further ado, we will get started. Dr. Shanice Wallace was 30 years old and resided with her husband in Indianapolis, Indiana. Dr. Shanice Wallace was originally from Mobile, Alabama. She attended college at Alabama A&M University and HBC, where she would meet the man that would later become her husband. She was a fourth-year pediatric chief resident at Indiana University School of Medicine. Dr. Shanice worked at Raleigh Children's Health Hospital in Indianapolis as a resident physician. Shanice and her husband decided they were ready to expand their family. Soon after stopping her birth control, Shanice and her husband would learn one February that they were expecting a baby. Unfortunately, early on in her pregnancy, Shanice would realize she was developing hypertension. At one point, Shanice would be admitted into an Indiana hospital after a routine OB/GYN appointment. At around 7 months of her pregnancy, she would have protein in her urine and also high blood pressure, leading to concerns of preeclampsia. Around 3 p.m. and about 2 hours after being admitted to the hospital, an order for magnesium sulfate via IV would be ordered related to her hypertension. Shanice would also be ordered morphine for pain. The magnesium would not be given for another hour after it was initially ordered, delaying treatment. A C-section would be discussed with Shanice after concerns of her developing a variant of preeclampsia called HELLP syndrome via cesarean section. Shanice would deliver a beautiful, healthy baby girl in spite of the baby being delivered early and admitted into an ICU related to the baby being born about a month to a month and a half earlier for observations. Even though Shanice would deliver this healthy baby girl via C-section, the same could not be said for Shanice. You see, her health was slowly deteriorating. Over that night, Shanice's blood pressure and body temperature would continue to decline as she was given even more magnesium sulfate. She would go into a hypotensive and a hypothermic state, experiencing drowsiness and becoming lethargic. Eventually, her body would stop eliminating waste in her urine. Because of this, the magnesium she was given would build up in her body. The hospital staff would give Shanice Ativan related to her confusion, not realizing that the confusion was being caused by the hypothermia and the hypotension. Throughout the night, Shanice would begin to pass large blood clots. Her sodium and magnesium levels would stay elevated. Shanice's mental status would stay altered, related to the hypertension and hypothermia. She could not stay awake, and then the doctors would eventually realize that she had no reflexes in her legs. Yet, they only continued to monitor her for the rest of the night, even though she would have little to no urine output in over 12 hours. She would then be given more magnesium sulfate, even as her sodium levels continued to decline. This would later lead to a complaint that Shanice's sodium level was undiagnosed and untreated for over 72 hours. Doctors would realize that Shanice had a ruptured liver, continued high blood pressure, and malfunctioning kidneys. 2 days later, after delivering her baby girl about 1 month early via cesarean section around 5 p.m. on October 24, 2020, a brain scan would show and confirm that Dr. Shanice Wallace, age 30, had no brain activity. She would officially be pronounced deceased at 5:39 p.m. Shanice's husband, Anthony, would not be by her side during her transitioning related to pandemic protocols. He was not permitted to stay with her. Allegedly, a complaint would be made against the hospital related to the Ativan that had been administered, stating it was gross negligence. It should be mentioned that a possible side effect of sodium deficiency is brain swelling that can or may lead to the ceasing of all brain activity. Shanice's husband would file a lawsuit against the hospital alleging negligence related to her demise. A GoFundMe would raise over $138,000, and Shanice's baby girl would go on to make a full recovery. Myself being a nurse for over 16 plus years, to me it is very obvious that when one of the alleged complaints stated that Shanice had a slow, painful demise related to her diagnosis of hypotension and hyponatremia, aka low sodium and magnesium toxicity, among other things, that the complaints of slow and painful demise was an understatement. The ball was dropped so many times at this hospital. I hope he gets every dime he sues them for. Some people need to be fired, lose their license, be retrained, and more. As you see by these stories, it doesn't matter about your social class, your education level. Apparently, all that matters and determines whether you get the best care is your race. Rest in peace, Miss Shanice Wallace. I pray your husband finds peace along with your family and all your friends that love you, and I pray your baby girl lives in peace. To my viewers, take care, be safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Everything you know is in your mind.